welcome to this discussion on Switch 2. And my good friend Alberto here. Welcome.
Wagwan.
Yes, indeed. So we have a lot to discuss today. We got some people in here. Welcome, Matt Zoid. Welcome, Legal Alien. I welcome everybody. This is interesting. All right. So
I whacked it on my server, and I think.
I got you. You got the squad in here. Cool. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the deal. We got a few things we want to discuss here today. And first of all, introduce yourself to my audience if that works for you.
Yeah, so my name's Alberto. I do Nintendo tutorials. I do mainly Nintendo-based content. So I like to cover a lot of the homebrew scene. But I have a major interest in the Switch 2. So, yeah, that's all about me.
For sure. And same here, except for the homebrew stuff, because I like being on Nintendo's good side.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a goody two-shoes, some would say. So,
I wish I could be that. I wish I had that sort of level of good behavior.
Though I do emulate from time to time, I will say that much, so.
We all do. It's fine.
Yeah. I want to talk about it on the down low so they don't hear me too clearly. So
yeah, no, of course.
We got a few things on the docket here today. Let's discuss first the Nintendo Direct that happened a few days ago. First of all, what were your thoughts, Alberto? What were your thoughts about this Direct?
A lot of announcements. My first thought was: are these all games that are coming out for Switch 1? They were marketed towards the Nintendo Switch, but I'm not 100% sure if they're all going to be just for the Switch 1, or cross-gen, or just for the Switch 2. They didn't really make that clear. I think Metroid Prime 4 is one of those games I believe will just be for the Switch 2.
Really? That's interesting.
I believe, from a visual point of view, that game looked like it was running on way more demanding hardware. If you look at the visuals, it looks so much more sleek, it looks clean. It looks a lot more visually appetizing. So, I think that's going to be either a Switch 2 exclusive or they're going to make a cross-gen, but they're just going to optimize it a lot more for the Switch. But yes. I still don't know. But other than that, we had Tomodachi Life and Rhythm Heaven, which were the other two that stuck out to me. I can't express the excitement. I really can't. I cannot keep it contained. Dude, there is so much. We need to have a single podcast dedicated to Tomodachi Life sometime.
A whole Tomodachi Life podcast where we make the Mii's say unspeakable things on the 3DS.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That's the entire reason you play the game. You make it so your Mii can say the F-bomb. That's the only reason I play it.
Yeah, same here. So I really want to see. I mean, they're 2026 games, so that's. We're kind of judging how long the Switch is going to live on for past 2025. So I believe it will be about probably 2 years. So these games are all coming out on the Switch 1. Then, I completely believe if it's coming out for the first Switch, then it's going to probably live on for another. I think the original Switch is going to live on for probably another maybe 2-3 years. But if not, then. I think they're going to keep it running until 2026, and then, in about 5-6 years, they'll shut down the online servers. But we'll certainly have to see,
Sure. I have a few thoughts about this Direct that has kind of come up after the Direct has happened.
Sure.
I think my mind has changed a little bit about how long Nintendo's going to support the Switch 1. This Direct surprised me with how they only announced one game that was already announced for Switch 1, and two, obviously they're great games, don't get me wrong, and I'm excited for both, but they're not like Mario or Zelda, that kind of, the tentpole releases. And I thought, given that there's such a large install base of Switch 1, I thought there would be more support over time, but it does look like they're winding down, which I am actually quite surprised by. I thought they were going to keep Switch 1 a little bit longer than they did with Wii U and Wii, because Wii famously just dropped off right when Wii U came out, and same with Wii U.
Initially, yeah.
And I'm quite surprised by that, just given how many Switches are in the wild. I think that was very surprising. So I think this actually might be near the end of the Switch more than we thought.
It's really strange, isn't it? They've implied that a lot of these. They didn't really mention the Switch 2, except for the announcement saying, we have the Direct coming on the 4th. That was the only mention of it. But it was really strange. they didn't directly speak about how long the lifespan of the Nintendo Switch is going to be. We're going to hear more about that once the Switch 2 is released. But by that point, I don't think anyone's... If you're buying a Switch 2, you're not really going to be too fussed whether how long the Switch lives for. But I don't know. I mean, I feel they're going to probably let it live for another... They'll still release content for another few years, but... Like 1 to 2 years, but online-wise, I think... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think for third-party games, you are 100% right about that. I think for Nintendo first-party, that's what I'm more so talking about. So, like, with with third-party games, I have no question that will continue happening, just because, like, there's so many Switches out there, people want to make money. It's like how the PS4 still gets support to this day, right? For anything Nintendo related, I think they're going to drop it like a brick after 2026. That's what I kind of gathered, which I really didn't expect. I didn't. That was not on my bingo card. So and that's fine for the record. I mean, they've done it before, but I was expecting, given how many units have sold, maybe that wouldn't happen. But it seems that's not happening. So I don't know.
Well, we're gonna have to give things time. We're gonna have to see what their overall approach is, because they're still marketing the Switch now. Like, if you look at Nintendo's Instagram, they're still heavily marketing the Switch 1. They're still trying to get people to buy units. But how long are they going to keep pushing that console for? I mean, I don't know if they're even going to sell it over the holiday season. I don't know if they're going to push it over the holidays this year, which I thought would be something they may do alongside the Switch 2, where they just try and get rid of the last of their units. So I don't know if that would be a marketing interruption of any sort, but yeah. Sorry.
I have a theory that they're going to discontinue both the normal Switches and just release Switch Lite. That's what I've been thinking, because they don't have a budget. They don't have, similar to what Nintendo did with 2DS, new 2DS when the Switch was out. I think they're going to discontinue both standard Switches so they can open up manufacturing capacity for Switch 2, and they're going to keep Switch Lite, which uses the same APU from NVIDIA, to essentially make sure they have something in the $200 bracket, or if tariffs go in, a little bit higher than that, on the market, so people can, get a system for their kid, and it already has all these games, similar to what the pitch was for new 2DS XL. It's like, hey, we already have all the software for 3DS, you can play it. You can play it on a cost reduction system that is still powerful enough to play these games. Have at it, But I think for the standard dockable Switch, it's going to be just Switch 2 this holiday season. I really do believe that.
Yeah, it makes total sense, and to be honest, I think that it's unnecessary to try and keep the Switch 1 alive when they've got a system which does everything that system does already. I mean, we're just literally removing we're going to take away the IR sensor, and that's about it. I don't think that's, it's unnecessary. Why do they need to sell a system which is, more or less outdated now?
Yeah, I mean, we need Nintendo Labo too. That is the most hyped thing for Switch 2. I need Labo again. Unironically love Labo.
Some sort of weird gimmick would be great. Yeah, go on.
I unironically love Labo. I thought Labo was one of the smart... I think it died too fast. I really believe that.
Why did it exist in the first place? It was so... I really wanted it, but I never got my hands on it.
I think what was fun about it was not... The games were not the fun part. It was specifically the building. It was like cardboard Legos. That's exactly what it was. It was like... And it had the best instructions. It showed you exactly how to move the tabs and how to pull the rubber bands over. It was like Legos on roids, because you saw how to build everything. It was so good. I was like, the game sucked, but the experience of making the contraptions was so expertly done by Nintendo. I was like,
it looks really unique.
Yeah,
it looks so. I loved how it looked, to be honest.
I only bought one of them just because I wanted to see what it was like, which is the vehicle kit, which was... The game sucked, but the actual, like I said, building them was like, wow, this could be something kind of cool if no one else was doing that, besides Lego and other construction kits. And I was like, but what's fun about it is for a kid who's really picking that up, it's like, hey, here's something you can learn a little bit about engineering, even though it's not like that. But you give a kid an interest in that, and then you see what you do come to life. That's kind of a fun idea,
It was sick. I think it was awesome. They had their own take on hex bugs, from what I remember.
Yes,
they had the.
I know what you're talking about.
Those little motorized toys that used to scuttle across the floor. Yeah,
I used to have hex bugs.
I always wanted to. Did you used to own hex bugs?
I used to when I was very young. Yeah.
I really wanted some as a kid, but actually no, I think I had some, but I don't remember. I think I had some. I don't think I had loads of them, because they used to be on what was it, Disney XD and Cartoon Network.
All
and
those
stuff.
ads, yeah,
them everywhere.
For sure.
Yeah, it was sick as fuck, dude. Honestly, I mean, when it comes to the Yeah, so when it comes to the like going back to the subject of the Switch 2,
Sure,
anyway,
sure.
So, I mean, I completely believe with the system though. When people talk, so I'm going to kind of go on to a different topic. Actually, this is what I was thinking about.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the C button this time around.
Oh yes.
And this is what I've been thinking, and this is what's been getting on my nerves. We said it earlier. Why do people keep making the most dumb fucking assumptions about the C button? I don't get it. I don't understand why everyone's like, oh wow, it'll connect up to the original Switch, and you know you can use it as a gamepad like a Wii U. It's like
the C button will fix my parents' marriage.
I mean, to be fair, if you're getting divorced over anything Nintendo related, then marriage counselling is heavily advised. But
yes, 100%.
Yeah. But to be honest, like, I mean, the C button. I mean, I believe it's going to be some kind of community button, or it's going to be something to do with some kind of menu of some kind.
I agree with this. Yes.
Or it'll just be a control function. I'm not too sure, but I mean, I see them making pretty good use out of it. And doing something quite unique. I mean, I believe it's going to be menu based though. Like, are we talking like social media? Maybe.
I believe. Well, this is obviously. I could be a social media one, but I believe the people saying it's going to be a Wii U gamepad functionality, which obviously I won't know anything till the direct. Right? I have a lot to say on the subject. I really do.
I got you. Yeah, go ahead.
I think that could happen. I don't think it's related to the C button. I think that is a weird correlation to this. I think it's still possible that could be a thing, but I don't think it's going to be the implementation people are thinking. I think having a Switch as an accessory for the Switch 2 makes no logistical sense. Now, Nintendo has proven me before that they don't make any logistical sense with any of their decisions, but I think this specifically would be a nightmare for them to keep going, because like, let's put this into perspective, right? If you have to keep the Switch 1 manufactured while the Switch 2 is being made, and then use the Switch 1 as an accessory for Switch 2, you're having two platforms manufactured at once, as well as this issue where like these things aren't talking to each other besides being used as a controller for one. So at that point, might as well just make like a PlayStation Portal type accessory for the Switch 2. And then they actually make more money that way. I agree. I agree. I'm just saying, I don't see them using the Switch 1 as like some sort of gamepad accessory. I mean they could. I don't think they will. I think that whole concept is very strange to me. I mean, like I said, Nintendo's they're a wild card, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think they could still do something like that in the future, but I don't think it will happen at launch. And I think the C button's going to be for something separate.
I think it's going to be some weird gimmick they try and push, which will it'll be something like they did with the Wii, where you know they had the weird controllers which had like proper like which had like gyro controls and everything, and they had all that weird stuff going on.
Also, if the C button was actually used for that, it'd be called the U button.
Oh yeah, true. That's actually a really good point. I didn't really think about that. But here's the thing. So functionality-wise, I believe the C button, like I've already said a million times, social media or not social media, but like the friend menu, I think would be probably the most realistic use of it.
Sure.
Or some kind of it could be like a lot of people said C for like community, but I also do believe it could be used for some kind of weird accessory they're going to be releasing. So that might not be a gamepad. It probably won't be.
I don't think so either.
But it could be for some kind of, maybe like little things like sell with it, like some kind of. I mean, it wouldn't be third party, would it? Let's be honest.
I doubt it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's completely unrealistic. But when it comes to accessories Nintendo release, they always find unique ways of playing games.
For sure.
And this is something they could definitely apply. I mean, or it could be, like I said at the start of the podcast, it could be a useless button which you can only use in a select few games, sort of like the IR sensor in 1-2 Switch, which I thought was just quite bizarre.
100%. The only thing the IR sensor was actually used for reasonably was actually Labo. Labo used it heavily.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I didn't actually know that.
So, in the contraptions with Labo, there was electrical tape that you put into the accessories, and that's how the cardboard would read in movement with the controller. When the electrical tape was viewable by the IR sensor, it would show as a command in your game.
Oh,
Because
I didn't know that.
nothing was actually wired to the Joy-Con. It was specifically electrical tape that was sending a signal light-wise to the IR sensor that would trigger it to do, say, a command in game. Yeah, that was the only time I ever saw that used like in an interesting way that I could actually see like, oh, that could be reasonable for what this is.
But I mean, it makes sense, yeah. But it could just be a button which they only utilize for a few different titles, or so it most likely has something to do with the system itself.
Yeah, I believe it's a system integration. Yeah.
Yeah, some kind of new gimmick they're trying to push, or it might be something useful. Like I said, we've been talking about the potential use of voice chat, built-in voice chat, and
you know what,
direct messaging and everything.
I didn't even think about that. That actually, okay. I didn't even think about that. If they are doing voice chat, that would actually be a very reasonable, because they don't have like any dedicated button for communication, and that could be a communication button.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah, and I've said it for a long time. They've let's put it into the perspective of, okay, so we're going to release this system. Everyone nowadays is having to use a third-party platform to communicate, right? So, for example, if we want to play with our let me just...
Classic Nintendo Switch.
Classic Nintendo Switch, which I've got right here, right? Great system, but I can't talk to you on this unless I play Fortnite with you, and I plug it directly into the system. So, I can't talk to you on there, but I can use Discord to communicate with you. If I could communicate with you on the system whilst playing games simultaneously, it would make a lot of sense. And people have been wanting this for so long. They had Wii U chat and a couple other ways of communicating on the Wii U.
Which I used religiously 10 years ago.
Oh yeah, honestly. I remember... I haven't used Wii U chat, but I remember voice chatting using Pokemon X and Y.
Yep.
Which had that awful, that awful sounding... Oh my god, the audio quality was horrendous, but it's so nostalgic.
It was awful in Wii U chat, too, for the record. I was in the Black Ops 2 Wii U community, and famously, the audio on that was horrendously bad. It was worse than 360 audio. It was like...
That doesn't surprise me one bit.
Because it wasn't managed by Nintendo. It was specifically through the... You had to plug in your headset through the gamepad, and then, like... even if you're using a Pro controller, you had to plug in your headset through the gamepad. So you had to have your gamepad on the side and then use your Pro controller in your hands. It was so weird, but we all bared with it so we could talk to each other.
Yeah, no, I mean I understand that. I'd like to see. I'd like to see some kind of voice chat brought back again.
Sure.
I mean, they have. They could just literally put a Discord client on there and that could be it. I mean, PlayStation and Xbox have now got Discord integration. Yep. Why can't Nintendo do it?
Well, because they're pure.
It just makes sense. Yeah, true. They don't like using third-party services, but they're now collaborating with Microsoft. So I think they're going to start pushing a lot more third-party software onto their systems, which I think would actually make.
I think they should.
A lot of sense.
I really think they should. It would make a huge difference, man. It really would.
Yeah, 100%. Do you see them bringing back anything like Street Pass by any chance?
Oh, I hope they do, because I unironically loved Street Pass back in the day. I thought it had this community aspect to the handheld portion of your system. I think they could still do it technically because they have local communication built in the Switch 1. Now, we haven't seen if Switch 2 will have that. I doubt if it wouldn't. And actually...
Yeah, it can't not, yeah.
Actually, I think it definitely will because the virtual game card thing, which we're going to discuss later, actually requires local communication. So actually...
Yeah, it's confirmed.
That confirms it right there because they already said that it already does with Switch 2. So that... Yeah, okay. That explains that.
I mean, virtual... We'll get onto virtual game cards.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, but just finishing this portion, yeah. So, I mean, I see them pushing something like this again. I see them trying to take a new approach to Street Pass, considering we've just had the big announcement of Tomodachi Life, Living the Dream. The utilization of Mii's and those avatars, I think, Nintendo are just prone to, making use of that again.
Yep.
It makes sense because they want to use these avatars and they want to bring back old features and old software, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Why not bring back what people loved originally? I know Nintendo are all about innovation and kind of they tend to move on quite a bit from their old, from a lot of their old IPs and software and
for sure,
gimmicks, etc. But this time around, I do see them bringing that back. I see it as a they could just add something like Street Pass questing again, and work pretty well. Just walk around with the Switch 2, get some play coins, go and exchange them. I see them doing it. I'd probably play that every single day.
I would use that a
use that
lot.
every day.
Yeah.
Same. I have to travel. It'd motivate me to travel around the world. So
For sure. Now,
yeah.
virtual game cards. Let's discuss because there's a lot to say here. First, I want to hear your opinion on it because I have a spicy opinion on it.
It's weird. I don't particularly understand why they're doing it or why it exists. Yep. I don't really get the whole concept of it either. I just think it's a very obscure, kind of strange thing that they're doing. Really, I just think it's a really strange approach. But I don't know if it's to evade like things like piracy, etc. I don't know if it's to avoid piracy and stuff though. So.
Sure.
But go ahead. I don't really have much of a take on virtual game cards, to be totally honest with you.
I think it is the most non-feature they've ever implemented on any Nintendo platform because you can literally do this if you link two Nintendo accounts already to a so the only thing that is additional here is if you have a Nintendo Switch Online family account, you can share your games to other people in the family. That's the only thing that's the only thing I see that they've added. If you have two Switches, right? Which obviously not everyone does, but I do, right? You have one as a primary and you have one as a secondary. You can play all your games on both, but the secondary has to play them only connected to internet connection. The primary can play offline. What this does, the only thing this does is allows you to lend the game to another Switch to essentially play it locally there. That's the only reason this exists. But the problem with that is after 2 weeks it goes back. So it's the exact same fucking thing, just with a 2-week time limit. That's the only difference between these things.
It's just stupid.
I think it only makes sense if there was a month limit on it. I think 2 weeks is too short for this because if people are going to be using this feature specifically for traveling, most likely they're going to send it to or to share a game, right?
Yeah.
They're going to send it to someone to either try a game before they buy it, or they're going to use it to go traveling on their secondary Switch where they can't. Or they'll just bring their other Switch that's connected to the primary, right? So that's also an option.
Actually, yeah.
But like,
I mean,
yeah,
it makes sense in a way. I see why they're doing it, but at the same time, I don't understand why they can't just leave things how they were. They're just overcomplicating how family plans share their titles. It just doesn't make sense to me why they're trying to push this.
100%.
I'm assuming it's to get people to buy more copies of their games. I'm assuming it's to get people to buy 2 copies. Mainly due to kind of how you only get the access to the title for 2 weeks. Is you effectively have a demo of the game, and if you want to finish it, then it's like buy your own copy, and all that data will still be saved on the cloud to your account anyway. So
that's the only reason I think it exists. I think it's a way to share demos with people. I think that is but that's not like a feature. Like to me, that's not a feature. Yeah. Like if you already have 2 Switch Online accounts and you already have 2 Nintendo Switches, you can already basically do this. And the only additional thing here is like, hey, you can lend to someone for 2 weeks. I'm like, why are we spending all this time rebranding this to like something that like, and at the end of the day, doesn't do anything for the consumer. It actually doesn't. Like I don't think it does anything significant, and I don't understand it. Like I don't understand why. And like people were telling me, oh, this is like a game changer feature. Like someone messaged me that. I'm like, no, I don't think this is. I think this is just marketing hoopla to essentially be like, we added something new to the Nintendo experience directly to you.
They just wanted like filler for that direct. It feels like they just wanted something to fill the rest of that direct up with. That's all. I
agree.
Like.
I 100% agree. I think that was a feature they're already working on, and they're like, hey, it's something we can put to a 30-minute direct. So put it out into the world.
They needed they put like so much just third-party stuff. Like I mean, there was a lot of like good third-party titles in that direct. You had like the remasters of like Dragon Quest, etc. You had there's the first and the second one of I forgot what that game was called now. It begins with a P. I've played it before.
Patapon?
Yeah, Patapon, yeah. It looks good, by all means. It's one of those. I think I played the first one a while ago.
Sure.
But honestly, I mean, I think they just wanted to fill it up with extra content. And it makes sense, it's Nintendo at the end of the day. They want to have things to show off in their directs. They want to have things to present to their new consumers and everything, and their average consumers, etc. But with the Switch 2, I mean, they've got an hour to fill up. That's going to be at least an hour long, and I cannot wait to see Well, I can't wait to see how they utilize that time. I want to see how they present this system to us. So I'm curious if they're going to use that 1 hour time span to present like 40 minutes of just the system and its accessories, its UI, its everything it can do, or everything it can everything it's capable of.
You're gonna show us how many ice cubes are in the new Joy-Con controller. You know how it is.
It's gonna be
HD Rumble 2, baby.
I want to be able to. I want it to be like the PS5. We need that HD, like PS5 HD Rumble.
Oh, 100%. I think that is
so good.
We need that because I think that would make you. The only thing that sucks about like them doing that is because the Switch's triggers are digital. We're not going to get haptic triggers regardless. We're just not.
No, yeah, not at all.
Which that really blows because that's like the best feature on PS5 is those triggers. You know.
Yeah, imagine just playing Breath of the Wild and fucking just pulling a bow back, and you can do it in Horizon Zero Dawn on PS5
and Tsushima, yeah,
and Tsushima as well. I haven't played Tsushima. I played it on PC.
Oh, it's fabulous.
In like games like it's used in Spider-Man 2.
Yes,
I've been playing it. I was playing it today. I see them definitely. If Nintendo were to add something like that, they put it in all their first-party titles, but it's so unlikely.
The only thing they could do with that is if the Pro controller has it, that's a possibility. But we've already seen the Joy-Cons. They are digital, like regardless. They're a click button press. There's no way.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I wish they would, but it's unlikely. Yeah, a Pro controller, like we've not been shown it yet. I'd like to see what the Pro controller is going to look like. I mean, I'm guessing they're just going to put My guess for the mapping is they're just going to have the. I think it was like so I've got my Switch Pro controller just here actually. I just completely forgot about that. You've obviously got your home button to the right, and then you've got your capture button just there.
Yep.
I'm assuming they're just going to put the C button like down the middle, and then just kind of sell it as like, oh look, you can use this controller. I mean, if I can use this on the Switch 2, I'd be happy.
I think so as well. I think that's reasonable. I mean, like I don't see where else they put it. Like they put it at the top of it. No.
Oh no, it's just stupid. Yeah. Absolutely, it'd be so stupid, yeah. But I see them definitely like putting it somewhere in the center,
Or they could remove all the buttons and have a buttonless controller, like what Apple would dream of with a portless iPhone. Like this is the first. Yeah. This is the first capacitive touch controller.
Exactly, and it's just a giant PlayStation touchpad.
Yeah, exactly, like the Vita, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Because everyone loved that,
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. I see it being the same as the Switch 1 Pro controller, and I think they're gonna release a few like. They're gonna have accessories as well. They're gonna have additional accessories for these sort of things, and I reckon there'll be a new kind of style of Joy-Con straps, which I'm kind of curious to see how they're gonna do Joy-Con straps this time around. I'm guessing you're just gonna just magnetically tap them on, but
I would assume so. I think the Joy-Cons are my biggest concern with this thing because I don't like it's not even just the sticks in the Joy-Cons. I don't like the shape of them. I don't like the clicky buttons. I like the Switch Lights buttons a lot more. The triggers on the Switch Joy-Cons suck. Like I hope to God Switch 2's Joy-Cons are like more comfortable. Like, that is my biggest like. If they fuck that up, they're like actually stupid. Like,
oh yeah, 100%.
The way you interact with that device is the entire reason you use it, right? Like the reason I use the Steam Deck so much is I think it's the most ergonomic handheld on the market. Like, it's just, the ergonomics on it are immaculate. I completely agree. I've never found a handheld that has everything where I like the sticks at the top. I like the back paddles. I use back paddles for a lot of Steam Deck games, just because it makes it more comfortable. And I use back paddles. That's why I use an Elite controller, because I use back paddles. These are like things that not a lot of people think about, but when you add them to a device, they make it a lot more accessible as well as enjoyable to use. And I hope the Switch 2 is a much more ergonomic handheld. That is one thing I really, really hope for, because God, the Switch 1 is not. It's just not.
It's the Switch 1. I mean, the Switch 1's actually not too bad. Like portability.
Yeah.
The Switch 1 is so perfect, and it always nailed that. It's a very comfortable system to use. Take around with you.
Well, the portability, yes. Ergonomics wise, no. That's my belief.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
I can kind of, I mean, I see why people don't like it. I don't really mind it. I bought a Nitro deck. It's just up.
I have one as well behind me because I can't stand the Joy-Cons.
Yeah, no, that it makes it definitely enhances the experience. If you own a system like a ROG Ally, that is so perfect. But I mean, I see Nintendo definitely this time round trying to enhance the portable experience for people. I think as much as I enjoy playing off just playing in docked mode, I'd like to see them try and enhance the experience somehow for portable users such as myself who don't particularly spend a lot of time at home. Like I spend as much time as I'd like to, but I'm not at home every second of the day. So,
I never dock my Switch. My dock just sits there. Unless I'm streaming, I do not dock my Switch, ever. I only use it in handheld mode. I basically just use it as a handheld console at this point. I only use my handhelds nowadays. My PS5 just kind of sits.
Yeah, that's fair.
I only, my Steam Deck is my primary, my daily driver. I bring it to work on lunch breaks. It's great. I love it. Nowadays, let me pull this out. My new lunch break thing is I have a Mod Retro Chromatic, which is like an FPGA Game Boy, which I love to death.
Nice.
That I bring to work and play Tetris on.
That's quite fun.
Yeah. Handhelds are my primary way to play games nowadays. I love handhelds. They're a much more what's the word, flexible device to use in your daily life. You don't have to worry about I don't have a screen. I got the screen right here. It's awesome.
Yeah. Dude, I just love the I think the selling point of the Switch 1 was definitely just the way people would was the tabletop mode. That was a major selling point of the Switch 1, being able to take the controllers off and just playing tabletop. That's what I believe they need to sell with this one as well.
I also agree with this.
I can't wait. Honestly, I'll either be in New York or Japan at the time, I believe. But I can't wait to take that system home and just sit on the plane with it, and be able to view everything on my screen and be like, oh. I can't fucking explain how excited I am for that.
It's gonna be great.
It's just gonna be. Go on. Yeah, go ahead.
No, good. No, you're good. I think it's gonna be great. I think there's a lot to be excited for with Switch 2. I think the whole thing about tabletop mode is what sold it. I think you're right about that. I think the only other handheld that does that is the Legion Go, and the Legion Go is not designed for multiplayer. The thing about the Switch 1 was it was a party console. You could take anywhere and still play single player. That's the beauty of it, right? With something like a Windows handheld that has that kind of dockable feature with the controllers, it's but you're still playing PC games which are not designed around co-op and split screen co-op. The Switch 2 was designed around that. The Switch 1 was designed around that. That's the beauty of it. You can just take it anywhere, pull out a Joy-Con, hand it to your bud, and be like, "Oh, I'm playing fucking basketball at the basketball court," which is what they showed at the original Nintendo Switch reveal, which is hilarious to me.
I've only done that a various amount of times. It's actually such a fun experience that I definitely didn't utilize enough back when the Switch 2 was not the Switch 2, sorry, the Switch 1 was relevant. Mainly with Mario Kart Smash. When I was in my old college, when I was doing games design, that's something that we tend to do quite a lot. We used to do games design a heck of a lot. So not games design, sorry, kart mode heck of a lot on the Switch 1.
Sure.
So. I completely believe with the Switch 2, they can bring that charm back again, and they can definitely have another take on the multiplayer experience.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're going to do that, obviously, more power means, more immersive games as well. So I believe having third-party titles with a split screen. So let's say Call of Duty, for example. A lot of people have. There's a strong belief that Call of Duty is going to be out. If you can play that split screen, in public, and you can, just pull it out, play with your friends, on the table, for example, that'd be so perfect.
I agree.
It's the utilization of third-party titles which I think will heavily sell this system. And this time round, they definitely will nail that if they release the right titles and also live up to the hardware expectations. So, yeah, it's one of those things they need to hit the nail on the head with this time.
I agree. And I think we should move on to another topic since we've gotten pretty far on this one here.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Let's see what's on the docket here. Let me go back to my my little thing here. All right. Actually, I want to hear what do you want in Tomodachi Life 2 here? I'm actually curious. We haven't really discussed that yet.
We need everything Tomodachi Life 1 had. Obviously, they've gone with this new weird cel-shading art style, which I'm actually quite fond of, which is kind of strange. I didn't think I'd be a really huge fan of the Mii's using them using cell shading for this game, which kind of gives off that sort of Wind Waker vibe with the overall visual effects as well. But I'd like to see, online, some sort of online multiplayer of some kind, being able to visit other people's islands and being able to interact with their Mii's and characters, and obviously, you can build their personalities. More complex personalities would be something I would be heavily sold on.
Sure.
Also, a wider range of places like retail markets, convenience stores, clothing items as well. And even if they release something like Miitomo again, which people have been wanting to have that back, that was a really weird.
I would die for that. I love that.
Oh, same. Literally, it was. There was a revival of it which I played. It was really fun.
Wait, really? That's a thing? Oh, send that shit to me. I want to play that.
I will try and find that for you.
Thank you.
I actually had it on my. Honestly, I think
the amount of weird me poses I made in that app was just incredible. I loved it.
Yeah, man.
I love the photo mode in that app was fucking hilarious. I loved it.
I really miss I really want them to bring something new to the table this time around when it comes to this game. And obviously bring back Street Pass as well. That's like we've already mentioned about Street Pass, having something like that come back where like people get married, they have a kid together,
and
then that kid goes and gets sent to other islands. I mean, there's pretty this is like a really terrifying thought that I've thought about for the last 5 years, right? Or longer than that, probably since 2016.
Mm-hmm.
There's people who quit playing Tomodachi Life after a certain amount of time. Let's say you had a baby on your island, right? And then you sent that to someone else's island. They shut off their 3DS, never turned on again. That kid is stuck on someone else's island.
Oh no.
That's actually a really terrifying thought. So
yes,
that
is.
You made is not backed up anywhere. It's not backed up in the save file of the game. So that kid's gone. They've gone now.
F's in the chat, boys. F's in the chat.
R.I.P. Me babies. Oh no.
May they rest in peace.
Oh yeah, 100%. I see Nintendo doing a lot of new kind of unique things with Tomodachi Life there. I want to see what they can kind of experiment with a little bit.
Sure.
What would you like to see?
I think one of the things I specifically want is Nintendo was upset with how people use like the audio thing in that game specifically. I think they should have the courage to keep that in the game because I think that added a lot of personality to the first one, where you can make your Mii say whatever. Because text doesn't really make your Mii's come to life; a voice does. That's one major thing for me. I think they need to keep that because that was the soul of that original game. I think they should. I think they should make it longer. Tomodachi Life 1 was a very short and brief game and didn't have a lot of It had replayability, but not like it didn't give you reasons to replay it. You just wanted to replay it. I think the game should do a better job of making you want to come back to it rather than just being like existing. I think that's one thing I would heavily be grateful for because I think the core idea of that game is great. They just need to give players more reasons to be like, oh, we come back and we got something for you, And that was a major sticking point for me when I originally played on the 3DS when it came out.
Yeah, I think on the subject of voices as well, obviously the Mii's had. I don't know if you knew about this, but the accent your Mii's had was dependent on the region.
Oh, really?
And yeah, so for example, if you had a European copy of Tomodachi Life and you played it in English, it would have a British accent, right?
Oh, interesting.
So it'd have a British sort of English accent. In America, or the US copies, they all had American accents, and then obviously in Japan and other regions they had set accents. And I always found this really annoying because I had friends with American accents back then, and they'd have to have this really like plain generic voice in the game, and I'd be like, oh, this does not sound like them. Like, they need to not make accents exclusive to different regions this time around. They just need to make it so
you can choose it.
Everyone has. Yeah, exactly. You can choose it based off your character. So I'd like to see them do that. I don't know if in the trailer they all had different ones depending on the region, but I'd definitely like to see.
Here's hoping. So,
yeah.
I'll go on to our next topic since I think we said our piece on that. Let's see. Oh, we haven't even talked Prime 4 yet. We have not even talked Prime 4.
No, we haven't.
Let me think, because I think that reveal they showed was a mixture of exciting and somewhat disappointing. I think a lot of it looked really exciting. I was expecting a little bit more. It's been in development for 7 years, actually,
Yeah.
no, it's been 8. It was announced in 2017. Holy shit!
Yeah, it's been 8 years now. Yeah.
Oh my god!
As of June this year, it'll be 8 years.
I really did expect a little bit more at this point now. If we don't see anything at the Switch 2 Direct, which I would be very surprised by, if they don't show much, I think the game is a lot farther off than we think. I think the fact they showed so little makes me think it's not a launch title anymore. I don't think it's a launch title.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I think it's still possible. I mean,
it's still possible.
Or they could be. Well, here's the thing. They could be doing the Breath of the Wild strategy. They didn't show a lot of Breath of the Wild. You got to remember before it came out. They did like demos, but they didn't show off a lot of it. Right? They allowed people to play it at events, and that's it. So here's what I believe they're going to do. I believe they're going to make it so. They're going to make it so they advertise only very, very tiny portions of the game, and then they allow you to experience it firsthand without seeing a lot of these major like marketing campaigns. So they're going to market it using minimal gameplay, minimal footage, right? And this is what I feel I think they're going to do that. So I believe it's a possibility they could release it as a launch title.
Sure,
but we're still going to have to see,
So I kind of disagree with the Breath of the Wild comparison, and I'll explain why.
Okay.
I think they showed a bit more of that game than... They didn't show a lot, right? But like the difference is we have got over the span of 8 years, we've got 2 gameplay trailers and 1 logo reveal, right?
Yeah.
With Breath of the Wild, we saw it in, I believe it was either late 2013 or late 2014, like a full gameplay reveal at the Game Awards. We saw many teasers of it over the next... Oh, no, it was late 2014. Then we saw a reveal of it at D3. Then we saw them announce the delay, which obviously we knew was going to be a while, but we didn't know how long. Then they showed more clips of it at other Nintendo Directs. Then they had the full reveal at E3 2016, where they had people try it and experience it at the show. But they had many trailers basically displaying what the game was going to be, and at least the ideas they were having. This game has shown nothing. Like I'm getting more concerned. I am wondering what this game is going to bring to the table. The only thing they've shown is the psychic abilities and the new suit Samus is going to wear. They haven't shown anything that really inspires confidence of a sooner release than I think. And the fact that we have seen these specific slices of gameplay that are probably very early in the game, but nothing like that is more diverse, makes me a little bit concerned that this game is farther off than we thought, which is not ideal. I hope I'm wrong about this, but I think it's a holiday title at this point.
I think that's reasonable. Yeah, I think it very well could be. From the way they didn't show any direct release date, so I think the holidays seem reasonable.
Yeah,
and they seem more than feasible as well. I think what they're going to try and do is push out a select few first-party titles around the launch. So I believe Mario Kart's going to be one of them.
I agree with this. Yes.
It's not confirmed, but it could very well be what they try and launch the system with, so they can sell bundles from day one, and also leading up to the holiday systems, they can sell a bundle plus a game.
I don't think they'll sell bundles at first, but I think they're going to sell that as a game you can buy alongside it. Yeah.
Yeah, and they'll do deals on that, which I think would be actually really fun. And plus Switch Online, which I think would be a fantastic idea.
For sure, yeah.
And then also additionally, you have the whole thing with 3D Mario as well. I mean, a new 3D Mario this year is almost a definite,
I hope that rumor is correct, because that would actually make the system like a lot more like, oh wow, I want this day one, because that's going to come out this year. Similar to Odyssey was with Switch 1, where I'm like, yeah, this is coming at the end of the year. I'm pretty excited for this.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that, and I mean, the thing is, like, the first half of this year, if the Nintendo Switch 2 is released in probably towards the end of Q2, I see Q1 and the majority of Q2 or all of Q2 being quite bland, and there not being a lot going on at the time, or them not really releasing anything.
Yeah.
But I see the second half of this year being huge. I see the second half of this year just being huge, and I believe they're just going to pump out games, and they're going to try and get as many people on board as they can onto this system, just so we can we have enough content to consume, literally from day one until like December time around the holidays. So
yeah,
I look forward to that.
I think they definitely need to have a strong library from the start. I think they have the advantage this time because Switch 1 games will work with Switch 2, so they don't have to work as hard with like one major title like they did last time. They still need one, obviously, but like with Switch 1, you didn't have any backwards compatibility, so you only got Switch 1 games, right? So you didn't have this amazing backlog you could just plug into your system. So Switch 1 had to work hard with being like, we have to have Breath of the Wild at the start because we have nothing else till April. That was a major thing for them. We don't have anything till Mario Kart 8 comes out besides Breath of the Wild, so we need to have one killer app for our diehards at day one, and then we can figure it out later. I don't think they're actually going to need a major... It's good to have one, obviously, but they don't actually need one this time because you can still play your older games, similar to what PS5 and Xbox Series X had the same thing where, like, hey, you can play your old games on here, so, like, we'll have big games, but they won't be as much of a priority because you can still play your older software as well.
Yeah, okay. I agree with that completely.
They definitely still need something, in my opinion, but they don't have to be as specific with it this time as they did last time.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I look forward to. I mean, this is just talking from the day one perspective and everything.
Sure.
You're going to be able to play your old library from day one, which is what I do really look. By the way, hey, what's going on, Rowdy Riles? What's going on?
Oh, hey, how's it going? That's an old coworker for me from Costco. That's pretty funny.
Sweet.
Welcome.
By the way, I'm part of the Costco family. I'm not.
Yeah.
I shop there I shop there religiously.
She doesn't work there anymore, but thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it.
Oh my goodness, yeah. So, I mean, day one, I want to be able to play my whole library. I'm gonna definitely preload all my games. I need to make sure to buy a micro SD as well. I'm gonna buy like quite a chunky micro SD.
Oh yeah, we need storage. We need mass storage on this thing.
We need mass storage. We need everything.
Yep.
So I'm gonna max out the system from day one. I don't know where I'm gonna be picking it up though. So it'll be in one of 3 countries. So which sounds really really bizarre actually, because it's like, okay, so I have a friend who's like really. He's kind of begging me right now to head to not begging me, but he's like, oh, we should go to Japan for like a week, and I'm like, look, if it's around the week of the Switch 2, which will be in like a couple months, and yeah, we'll go then. But if not, then I'll just go to New York and meet everyone. I mean, I hope it's after June 15th because everyone says after that time that everyone will be able to go. And then we can all queue up together, and we can all just start screaming together.
Wait, streaming or screaming? I heard screaming. At the same time.
I said screaming, but streaming as well. Yeah, that's fine.
I scream. We all scream for Switch 2.
Oh, yeah, no, we'll be there getting all hyped up. I mean, I'm pre-ordering one in the UK anyway. I'm pre-ordering a Switch 2 in the UK. So I have a system to come back to as well, but it'll be if they do 2 different SKUs, I'll probably just pick order the other one so I can have one in the UK, and I might just give it to my girlfriend maybe. But I'll have to see. I mean, I just hope they're not region locked though. That's the only thing I hope.
I doubt they will, but that is also a concern of mine because I think Nintendo is getting more and more like. I don't think it will be. I think it'll be region free, but I mean we'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to. I think it only makes sense. Yeah.
I think they learned their lesson that like, hey, most tech nowadays is region free, so they should probably keep it that way. But I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I hope they keep that the same.
Yeah, I think I believe the Switch 2 is going to be. It's going to be one of the first systems that I definitely take around. It's going to be the first system I take around the world with me. One of the things I beg for most is that we just get a comeback of Street Pass of some kind.
100%. I don't want to have to keep bringing my 3DS everywhere just to get Mii's. I mean, come on.
It's impossible to transfer them as well. Like getting them to the Switch is just like it's more than impossible. So, I'd like them to make it possible for me to go and collect Mii's of random people I've never met in my life.
Yeah, we gotta catch them all.
Yeah, exactly. Gotta catch them all.
Yeah, it's
Dude,
it's a real life Pokemon.
Dude, I was like 8 years old going into game in the UK, and there were like employees, and then I was like 8 to like 10 years old, and it was when all the Pokemon promos were happening. I get like I go into this sort of town called Whitney, which is in Oxford in the UK, and they used to have a game store there, and I used to go in there, and I get like 3 street passes, 3 to 5, and all the employees would have their 3DSs upstairs.
That's awesome.
I'd always get them, and I'd be so hyped up. I'd be like, "Oh shit, is this you?" And he'd be like, "Yeah, yeah." I'd just be sat there for like 5 minutes going through them, and it's a pastime I really want them to kind of bring back. Like,
whenever went to conventions, bring the 3DS with me, get everyone up, and I'm like, "Oh man, we got the squad on the 3DS. We got the whole convention here."
Oh yeah, honestly, dude. On that stream I do on fucking Wednesday, I thought it was Tuesday for some reason, but on Wednesday, if they announce Street Pass, I will scream my fucking house down.
The earth will erupt.
Oh, it will, yeah, it will, and I'll make sure I will fall with it while streaming about fucking Street. Dude, it was the best feature they ever put on anything.
We're bringing Street Pass back directly to you, as Mr. Iwata once said.
Imagine if they just resurrected him for the reveal, though.
They should bring him back from the dead. I agree.
Or they should. I mean, we have AI now. They can bring up with it.
Iwata was one of the best CEOs in like tech history. I made a video about. I really believe like. God, man, I have so much to say about that guy's life. I mean, like, just an amazing, passionate human being. He
was a remarkable guy.
100%.
He was a very remarkable guy. Yeah, I cannot imagine Nintendo would be anywhere like. They wouldn't be where they are now without him. 100%.
I agree. Well, their company would be very different. They would have been still tech focused, but now they're experience focused, which is a very different thing. Before Iwata joined that company, before Iwata became head, if you looked at like any Nintendo product before, like GameCube and before, they were like what modern consoles are now. They were spec bumps. Right? Like the N64. If you actually look, I have the box of the N64 still in the house. If you look at the back of the box, it's talking about the clock speed of the CPU in there, and it's like Nintendo would never do that nowadays. They just would not do that.
Yeah, no.
That's not because nowadays they're experience focused and they're about coming up with exciting ways to play games rather than the hardware that designs them. Right? So like.
Yeah, of course.
Iwata changed how that company's centered, design-wise and focus-wise, and he did it for the better. I'll say that much.
Yeah, he definitely did, and he created very incredible experiences for everyone, and those still live on to this day. I mean, I think I said to a friend of mine earlier, I feel the Switch 2 launch is going to be very similar to how the Wii felt when it launched.
I think so
like
as well.
I think it's going to have that Wii feeling, and I don't know why I feel that. I don't know why, because I knew I wouldn't feel it with the Switch. I knew with the Switch.
I felt it with the Switch beforehand. This is the same feel. Well, actually, let me stop for a second. This is actually an interesting thing I want to bring up too. I felt a lot more hyped for Switch 1 than I am for Switch 2. And I'm hyped for this. Don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. When Switch 1 was coming out, I was like full steam ahead. Everything was Switch. Everything. my backpack was Switch themed. I was just like, fuck yeah, Switch is hype. Like I think the message of the system is brilliant. I think everything about how their marketing is brilliant. How they're focusing on people playing it rather than like children pitching it to their families, being like, "This is why you should buy Wii U, Dad." It was just great. Like I was just like, man, this is
I remember those awful commercials they did.
Hot butter popcorn, that's a deal. That's a real line from one of them. Fucking awful marketing. I'm like, just like
I remember that when Nintendo released those commercials, I saw them on YouTube. We have a UK. We had different advertising in the UK.
They were unbelievably bad. It was
terrible.
They're memed for a reason. They're like, did you ever see the Smash Bros. Amiibo one? That one's like hilarious.
Oh, please don't.
Where Bob Stinger I gotta beat my brother at Smash Bros.
I've got to prove to my brother's best friend, who is female,
that
I am the best at Smash Brothers. It's like, oh, it's so cringe.
And then I'll get the girl.
It's a bit like...
It's awful.
A bit bizarre.
Very strange.
It's cringe, it's weird, and it was Nintendo, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, no. Have you ever... Oh my god. Have you ever seen the old, like, early 2000s, late 90s N64 ads? Those are fucking bananas. Do you know what I'm talking about?
You had the Smash Bros one is the one I
Oh,
remember.
not just that one. That era of marketing for them, they were trying to go like Sega style, where they're like super edgy. Some of them are very. I can't even show some of them. They're like that, like offensive nowadays.
Really?
Oh, I'm gonna give you. There is one that I will not talk about in this stream because it's actually like offensive. It's that bad. About I don't even want to discuss it. Like it was about the N64, how they were putting discounts on games. If you, I'll tell you after stream because I genuinely think if I talked about it, like it would upset people. It's that bad.
Just send me the commercials.
I will.
I'm curious.
It makes fun of people who cross dress. That's all I'm gonna say. And it's like,
oh, okay.
And I'm like, that would not fly nowadays at all. Oh my god!
Dude. Oh my god!
Like that's a real Nintendo ad from the like the '90s. And I'm like, how the fuck did they get away with that? Like, how did they do that? Even at that time, that was not like okay.
It's just interesting. Their approach towards everything was just so strange. It was so bizarre how Nintendo went about. It was so bizarre how Nintendo went about doing all that stuff back then.
Sure, yeah.
Their advertising campaigns have changed so much over the years. And
yeah.
I really like that they've done, like, they've kind of more or less evolved over the time. I think this time they're going to be using they're going to be using American, the baseball league in America, what's it called?
The Seattle Mariners.
Yeah, they're going to be using the baseball to advertise the Switch too, apparently.
Fun fact, Nintendo used to own that team.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, Yamauchi owned the Seattle Mariners like 15 years ago.
That's kind of cool. I mean, I see them. I just really want the Switch to. One of the last few things I will say is I just really want the Switch to feel like the Wii. I really want this system to feel like how the Wii felt back in the day, and how I wasn't there for the launch. Like,
sure.
I mean, I was alive, but I was an infant.
Sure.
So I was a little bit older than just like an infant. I was kind of like 2-3 years old. But
I got the Wii at launch. I loved it. Not day one, but I got like a year after.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I'd like to see them definitely try and give that sort of aesthetic again. That they need to hit that aesthetic again, but and then also include new features such like how the PS5 did it. Yeah.
Sure.
That's everything from me, though. Honestly,
that's everything from me as well. I think we've covered a lot of bases here, Mr. Alberto. Thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, no worries.
We had a great time.
Anytime.
I'm definitely down to do this again. So, hey, have a great rest of your day, guys. Enjoy it, and gamers, rise up. I had my content.